to James's dinner. Fried potatoes with some salt and some yogurt and jalapenos, power bowl and salad, and banana. I'm going to talk about the butterflies of North America, and maybe a little bit about the banana. Yeah. And James, it looks like, has quite a stack there.
Yeah.
So I don't know what all he'll be talking about, but
I don't know how much time, but we'll see. So I've been reading, not a lot more than I would, but it's going faster because it's kids stuff. A lot of it.
All right, so one thing, I'm going to show this before I sit down. The butterflies of North America, there are all sorts of wonderful diagrams in here, and when you get to the butterflies themselves, see how there's little maps? It tells you where to expect these butterflies, and the pictures of the butterflies, I flipped to one with less exciting colors, but see, a lot of them look quite a lot alike.
Wow.
And so it's really handy. These are, it looks like actual butterflies, which is sort of creepy because you know that they killed them and mounted them. But
those maps are actually pretty good.
The maps are great. And there's other things in here that are great too. But honestly, I do find the butterflies, the actual photos of them, creepy. But
you find them creepy,
don't you?
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, they are insects.
They had to kill them.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
They're dead insects that they photographed.
Yeah, there we go.
So anyway, but at the same time, it would make it easier to identify it that way than from a drawing.
Well.
So anyway, James has been looking at butterflies in the...
Saw one today that was kind of stalking me in a very nice way. It was, I'd get ahead of it on the path, and then I'd say, wait, and it'd get into, it was actually going the path, and then I was over in the right-hand side of the pathway coming out, and coming out of Alexander Wilderness, and then it would get ahead of me, and then it would, on the left-hand side of the path, it'd find a rest stop, and it'd sit there, and it'd kind of move its wings a little bit like that. And then when I got, I'd stop when it did that because I wanted to look at it. And then once it stopped and I stopped, and then I could get going again, and I'd get past it, and I'd say, wait. It seemed like it was showing off. I don't know, it wasn't as though, I've seen them go ahead on paths. They must be doing something else. I don't know what it is. You've seen them on paths. They will get on a path and they'll fly ahead of you, right?
Anyhow, all I wanted to do was review this book because I have to return it to the library. I hoped that I'd be able to keep it all summer long because as long as somebody doesn't put things on hold, once you have borrowed it, the library just automatically keeps renewing it, right?
That's very nice. Yeah.
Which is very easy. It's very handy. So, but you have to keep checking because somebody might have put it on hold, and like this one they did. So I can't renew it.
It might as well be in your temporary collection than in their collection collecting dust.
Yes. So
that's one thing the library has got right. They've got a lot of things wrong recently, but
so I already put dressing on your salad, but I brought the Russian dressing out because lately James has been putting.
I like that Russian dressing. It's ketchup.
It's ketchup. Yeah, it tastes like ketchup.
Maybe that's fancy for their eating. It's fancy dressing. So ketchup.
So he likes. We've been given it free from the food truck, so that's why James has been eating his potatoes with Russian dressing instead of ketchup lately. And I found a box downstairs. I haven't been canning lately, not for a while. I guess I got exhausted. Well, last year I'd hurt my back, and then we were so sick, and so that it wasn't happening last year. But I don't even think we did it the year before, honestly. I was tired, and I don't really know what my excuse was. But I did find a box.
This last year was a reason, like that.
This last one.
We caught some sort of a plague. I'm not saying what plague it was or whatever.
Yeah. But it just wouldn't go. It was horrible. And well, James is still suffering.
There's something
doesn't
happening.
seem to be getting over it. It just
It could be a secondary infection that's lowered my immune system down, so this certain plague is having long-term consequences.
I don't know. Well, anyway, today I'm sniffly. I don't know why, but I think I'm fine.
We're at the library.
Yeah, well,
Picking
I was
up some
sniffly
Pushkin
this
stuff.
morning.
You two idiots at the library, if you're watching right now, they're on the internet. You get home. You shouldn't be you should have had masks, but you stupid skunks coughing and hacking. I don't know what you guys had.
James isn't accustomed to going to the library. So, anyway, I guess I could talk a little bit. I haven't returned the crown yet, but it's really the story of Prince Tampon. And
wow, that is one great story. Are you going to tell that one?
So good. Well, I can't believe you don't remember that. It was like watching this, I find it really interesting because I remember the outfits that Diana was wearing somehow. You know, it's like, they got that right because I remember it, you know? And
seemed as though she was a big tall gal, and they had big shoulder fashions for a while. Because that's my image of her, like big shoulder things or whatever.
I don't know.
Just didn't work.
But anyway, and I remember different things, like the different photo places, like where they were on their second honeymoon or whatever, you know, it was just a big lie. It was
more a vinegar
publicity,
move? Is that
right?
what you're saying? Oh, okay.
I mean, it's just it's marketing. They're marketing themselves as this happy couple. Well, it wasn't working. It wasn't working at all. I mean,
I don't think it ever worked.
No. So anyway,
At least from Chucky's point of view.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I think they picked Diana. Like at one point in this, she says she's telling Charles, well, they're having a discussion about why she was even chosen to be his wife or whatever, and it was like, basically she's saying it was a marketing thing. You know, you wanted somebody, or your family wanted somebody who was younger and who could sell you as an attractive king or whatever, right? And she says, well, now I'm marketing our son this way. You know, he's the attractive prospect kind of thing, and that's true. But it never would have worked with Charles. I don't know if that was the plan. I don't know what anybody was thinking with that. I mean,
I call him at that stage of the game,
he's
Chuckles
not
the
marketable.
Clown Prince, not Crown Prince.
Yeah. Anyway, and he still isn't. The best thing he could do is just keep a low profile, honestly. Like, pretend that he doesn't exist as king.
The crown just doesn't fit him. You noticed that? What he should do is get extra size one and just pull it over his gooberish face. You have trouble though, because of those big ears.
Yeah. Oh dear.
I understand if you got big ears or whatever, a big nose. I'm not making fun of you.
I mean, my
I'm
ears
making
look huge compared to James's ears. So anyway.
I'm making fun of him because he's a bozo, not because he looks like a bozo. Eh?
Yeah.
There was one thing, and I'm sure it's based on reality. He's weird complaint. He wants to exercise power. You know, obviously wants his mom to step aside. Whine, whine, cry, cry. Why can't I do something? Get off of your duff, Chucky. You had everything set on your plate. You could have gone to 2 of the best, maybe 10 universities in the world, your choice, Cambridge or Oxford or both. You could have, like I said to Polly, if after hearing that little speech of his, and it was way too long, it wasn't little, it was small-minded. Anyway, if I'd had his advantages, I would have gone to those universities, gone over to Harvard on, you know, with that huge amount of money his family was making, And I would have come up with a cure for all sorts of cancer, not just a few. But here he is. He's, I guess, good at painting, and he runs. I don't think he contributes much to the Princess Trust or whatever, which is a charity, and he gets the credit. Hey, look at the money I'm giving away. Yeah, but is it your money, bozo? So what was it that the ship, the Queen, this is Queen Elizabeth now? Were you going to mention that? What the repairs on it cost?
I think it was 23 million. They were
what?
The royal family. I think the Queen was wanting the public to pay the 23 million to repair her personal yacht, really, right? And so, I mean, she already has, 3 castles? Does she really need...
She has at least 3.
A floating one, too? So,
one in downtown London, one up in Scotland, and
if she does feel that she needs it, well, she has a lot of money.
Well, someone was saying recently she was maybe the richest woman in the world.
Herself, whatever. Now, I don't know. This show just... As much as I think they're trying to make Charles look good. How can you possibly, I was watching this and thinking, are they going to mention the tampon thing?
Okay, so you're going to mention it, right? Or are you going to wait?
Everybody remembers it.
I don't remember.
Okay, everybody except for James.
No.
Knew, it was the big laughing stock. Everybody was talking about it. Yeah. Because that's not pillow talk. That's just gross. Who would say that? So
Chuckles the clown.
Yeah, only him. I don't know who else would say that. Maybe there's somebody at home thinking, "Oh, that's something I would have said to my sweetheart." No. Really? No, nobody says that.
Now he's Charles III or Chuck the First or Chuck the Worst, probably.
So anyway, I don't know if. I only started watching this series with the complete 5th season here. So, I haven't yet returned to the library.
So, you've missed the first 4 seasons.
I have.
Oh my God.
And I don't know what... Honestly, I think this is the best one. Because how can you beat Prince Tampon? How can you possibly beat that? This has got to be the best season.
It's lucky you mentioned that to me last night. Because if you told the full thing here, I just would have been spewing it out with laughter.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't believe you didn't hear about it before. I don't know. I guess you were working the night shift as a janitor. And
I don't follow the royals. It's just like royals turn. It's like I'm missing a little part of my vision because of the stroke I had about 4 years ago. And it's like when it's selective cutting off of the vision. It's just like royals. Why? Just. But now I kind of follow it on the tabloids, right? Like I was telling Pauline, I don't mind being in lineups in a grocery store because all I do is read the tabloid headlines. Sometimes they're just hilarious.
James eats his bananas the other way. He uses this as a handle.
I noticed it wasn't monkeys, but some chimps. And it was particularly a little young one.
Oh,
and
he ate it that way.
In London Zoo, he opened up his bananas, plural, the way I open them up. I didn't before then. You see,
So you were a little kid and you thought, that's really smart.
No, I was grown up. I was in, when was I in England? I think it was 1985. So I was 31 years old. So you can teach this old dog new tricks. I was just going, well, it seems more natural that way because if you take the end of it that hangs on to the
Sometimes
bunch,
you smush it.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
You do it the other way, you get a little bit under your fingernail, but you don't smush it. It breaks open much more easily.
Well, yeah, I've only known one other person who eats bananas like you do.
Now, do they do that? Why do they do that?
Well, I worked at the zoo, and I saw him doing it at the zoo, and he said, "Watch the monkeys. This is what they do."
I saw it was, I believe, a gorilla child eating it that way, and he's saying, "Watch the monkeys."
Yeah, he said, Everybody else is doing it the wrong way.
Yeah,
I'm doing it the right way.
So I watched this little gorilla kid do it. I said, I've got to give it a try. So, actually, I do have an open mind. It might seem to some folks out there that I don't, but I changed my mind based on, I'll look at things and say, does that make sense? And then, if it looks as though it's not dangerous, if it's a behavior, then I'll try it out.
So,
and I tried it out with the little gorilla thing, and it works like a charm.
Good. So really, that butterflies book, I can't imagine there'd be a better one. It's really awesome. Yeah. I feel bad that we're having to return it. We'll just have to take pictures. But it really doesn't work. You're out in the field, you're trying to get a picture of a butterfly, and you get all set up, and off they go. And you're
I
like,
don't know if they have
God.
much hearing. They're like birds.
Yeah.
You have this little.
You get the camera ready, and there they go.
Well, what happens is beep. There's a little beep with the camera.
When you turn it on.
And when they hear that beep, it must sound like a pterodactyl.
I don't know what it does, but they don't like it. They don't like the beep. So, anyway, one day I'll get a camera that doesn't beep. But for now, I'm very thankful I have my camera, and I certainly love it. It's a very
the other thing birds don't like is they don't like being outnumbered. So as soon as they see 4 eyes against their 2 eyes, they're off like a shot.
Yeah.
So Pauline will be setting up a camera shot, and I say, I'm looking away.
Yeah, that's what.
Sometimes that helps.
Because, otherwise they're gone as soon as there's the two people
Two
watching
sets of eyes,
then they're gone. Well, not all. I mean, some birds are really, they don't care at all. Like chickadees are very.
The pine grosbeaks. One time they were overpopulating the leaves.
Yeah. They were so excited about eating those seeds that they didn't care about people watching them. And there's a lot of birds that they seem really social. Like yellow warblers. They seem to really want to be
flashy.
Photographed. Honestly, they're posing. They're adorable. So
there was one.
They
was
must
that
know
yesterday?
they're
Facing into the sun.
Mm-hmm.
Very impressive.
Yeah. And of course, I couldn't find it with my camera.
Too bad.
I have
There'll
problems
be others.
capturing them. A lot of the time, they pose so nicely, and somehow I can't get them.
Well, we get a telephoto lens, but that would make it even harder to find them.
I don't know.
Wouldn't it?
No, because then maybe I could find them first and then zoom in or something. I don't know.
Well, I'd like to think they have a guide.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not
something.
sure.
I
don't know because I don't have one. So I don't know if it's, maybe people who have them think that, this is such a big heavy thing. I wish I had a little buddy. But I don't think so. I think once they move to that, they're thrilled. They don't go back to something.
All I can say is I wouldn't want something like that hanging around my neck, screwing up my back. But my back.
No, you'd have to wear it like a backpack or something, I think.
Most people don't seem to.
I think they cradle it along like a little child.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, they're probably very expensive. I mean, those cameras are probably worth a couple $1,000s.
Yeah, it's good that there aren't a lot of criminals out on hikes,
They wouldn't care about those sort of things.
Probably not.
No.
Except, well, they might be able to fence it.
That's true, I suppose so. So you still have 10 minutes if you want to talk about our Wullie.
We're Wullie. Our Wullie. So as I was mentioning yesterday, May the 31st, I resolved to read this version, the New World Translation version, actually the Jehovah's Witnesses version of the Bible in French in the next month. Not going to happen like I was saying. Yeah, we were trying to say yesterday. We ran out of time. And it's because there's a variety of things. Pauline has a lot of things for me to read.
Well, you don't have to read them. I just thought you wanted to. That's all. Oh, you did want to.
When I said you had them for me to read, it wasn't as though you were hiring.
Okay.
So there was a bit of a ambiguity involved in what I said. So glad you clarified that. Then another thing is, excuse me, potatoes almost too good. It's like case of indigestion. Anyway, as I was saying when the camera ran out yesterday, this is June. This is the month in Lethbridge where we get, on average, the most rainfall. It tends to come in bunches. 1 or 2, maybe even 3 cyclonic storms lasting day and a half, 2 days, 2.5 days, rarely 3 days. And my basement is an area of Lethbridge that is probably was at one point in time a bit of a slough. Even when I first moved in there in 1974 in the springtime, the southern part of Gyro Park, which is about a block away, less than a block away from where I live, was still a slough. There was like a little pond. It could be pretty well. I think that Gyro Park is 2 blocks long, so it was like a 2-block long slough. And so I've got to make sure that my books in my basement are off the floor, at least in the western part of my basement, the part that tends to get flooded. So I've been doing that, not madly, just as much as my back can handle pretty well. One of the things that's going to be it's not going to be right on the bottom, because I got milk crates, but this is going to be, the kids' stuff is going to be at the bottom, right on top of one of the milk crates. I won't be able to access it very easily. I'll have to, because I can't take books down in a banker's box, one banker's box at a time. I've been told no lifting. So what I do is I'll lift out 1 or 2 books at a time. So, and that's, if I've got to empty something like 6 banker's boxes of books that way, it will take a lot of motivation to do that. So, probably several days. So I've been reading some of the stuff that I wanted to read. This is something I finished up yesterday. I basically read it in 2 days, along with lots of other things. Something like this I could probably read in a few hours, maybe 2-3 hours. Anyway, the message in the Hollow Oak, it maybe is the 12th in the Nancy Drew series. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I remembered that. Things I can remember and can't remember. Anyway, the 12th in the series, published way back when. Thank you, Gwen. I'm not going to mention the last name. This would have been given to Gwen probably when she was roughly the same age as me. In 1965. Is that what? Yeah, 1965. But it was actually published originally in 1935. Dates way back when. Anyway, finished that up. Like the bad guy here, spoiler alert, this is the bad guy here. One of the bad guys. There are many bad guys involved in a particular company. But you don't really need a spoiler alert for the Nancy Drew mysteries or the Dana sisters mysteries or the Hardy Boys mysteries. Probably, I've never read a Bobbsey Twin thing, but it was put out by the same company, same family, actually, Stratton-Meyer family. Bobbsey Twins, and you generally know who the bad guy is, even if you're a young kid. I started reading the Hardy Boys a little bit early. It was recommended for kids 10 to 14 years old. I started when I was 8. I read my first Nancy Drew, and for a long while, the only Nancy Drew I ever read, when I was kind of like when we first moved to Canada. And when we first moved to Canada, it wasn't the first house we lived in or the second house, but we kind of jumped houses really quickly after we moved to Canada back in 1959 it was. But I'm pretty sure I wasn't 6. I was 5 years old, and it scared the living daylights out of me. I read it later as a grown-up, the thing I read, and I was going, wow, boy, was I reading a lot into that. Anyway, yeah. So a while back, I gathered from the bookmarks I have in here, I tend to use old receipts for bookmarks. that Pauline bought these for me back in 2008, so quite a while back. Took me a while to get around to reading them all. So I was always fascinated with Beano, because I can remember seeing a picture of Eric Clapton before he was in Cream, and before he was on solo and with Blind Faith and Derek and the Dominos. He was with a group called John Mayall's Blues Breakers, and he was, I don't know, he had weird, he always tried to dress up like a mod or something, I don't know, most of the time. Anyway, he was sitting there, and actually half of Fleetwood Mac, the bassist Fleetwood Mac, is in that picture too. So that would be not Mick Fleetwood, but John McBee. He's there. He was bass player for, there was quite a group there that, did I say John McLaughlin? Anyways, some guy, the Blues Breakers. Anyway, Eric Clapton is sitting there reading Beano. I didn't know what Beano was, but it's a kind of like a comic book. Not very well illustrated, as you can see from there. And kind of creepy. This guy is supposed to be a bit of a hero, Dennis the Menace. Can you believe it? They got away with Dennis the Menace. That's his name.
Oh, wow.
Now, I'm suspecting the American one followed up on this. You see what I'm saying? And it's just an obvious pun, or rhyme or whatever. So Beano probably came, or otherwise the Americans would have sued the socks off of these guys. Because this, Dennis the Menace, I was reading when I was a kid in the 50s. And this dates from 1991, right? So they would have sued the socks off if they could have. But not really recommended. These are recommended. I can remember trying to read these when I was a kid. It was in Africa, when we were in Africa, my family and I, in the early 60s, 62 to 64. My dad really loved, I don't know how he found out of them, or Wullie comics. So he bought us at least one, maybe a couple, of these books. I think they're actually in newspapers originally, and then they put these out as collections. So I couldn't understand like Ura Wullie. I could kind of figure out that was our Willie, but now I go through it, and, like I've gone through a whole Scots dictionary. So what the heck? You kind of get when you read this, it's pretty easy. Anyway, I had a great time reading these, and I finished them up, I think, in a couple of days. 12th of June, that was yesterday, I finished that one up. 11th of June, day before. 11th of June, so yeah, I finished them up in a couple of days. And this I think I finished up on the 12th of June. So read a bunch of kid stuff, and finished 12th of June. Yeah, I mark when I've got stuff finished. Fact is that I can't stand bookmarks anymore because they always fall out on me. So all I do, it comes recommended if you don't really care about marking up your books. When I finish a page, check mark, check mark, check mark, and that way I make sure I get through things. Because I used to be the kind of person who could get through like a book that I kind of liked a third of the way through. If I didn't like it, I was lucky to get 10 pages through. But I go, oh, okay, and then I lose the bookmark. And I got to start it over again. So. But I found this is a good way of getting through books cumulatively. I recommend it if you don't mind marking your books up a little bit and things like that. Srimad Bhagavatam, got through this the other day, almost through it a second time. So get ready for a second review in the space of a week or something like that. Pretty well over?
Yep.